Guys, one of the most infuriating segments I have ever had to do on my channel was watching Donald Trump and Vance desperately try to maximize the amount of humiliation they could incur while attempting to humiliate the president of Ukraine. At every point, they were trying to make him look bad, to make him look weak, to make Putin and themselves look strong, and like they're the good guys at the same time. And yet, in the aftermath of this, everyone besides MAGA, globally, and I guess Russia and its allies, saw this as the most pathetic display from a world leader they've ever seen. Nobody has any respect now, anywhere in the world, for American leadership after this. Hell, I don't think Putin does either, considering that he literally has just bought out Trump. This was truly an everyone hated that moment. And it was so infuriating to watch. I could not go through all of it. But unfortunately, Ukraine and its future are still, to an extent, in the hands of America. And Trump is still trying to hold the idea of continued aid from the U.S. over Zelensky's head in order to basically try to lock him into some, like, insane deal where we would own, like, all the mineral rights to Ukraine or something like that. Essentially, they'd have to sell their entire country to us for us to continue supporting them. And Trump continues to double down on this, while also very much leaning into the narrative that many conservatives believe that Zelensky and the Ukrainians are the aggressor because they aren't surrendering to Russia. That this war could be over, the deaths would stop, that most importantly, U.S. tax dollars would stop going to Ukraine if they just surrendered. And surely it must be the president forcing them to keep fighting, and they all just want to surrender. It's just that maniacal dictator Zelensky making them continue fighting. This is the nonsense that these people are falling for from Trump, and it's the narrative that he's continued to try to push. And just today, he spoke out with a little bit of a little mini press conference on the state of Ukraine, of the Ukraine peace deal, and updated us on the tariff situation. But I'm more interested for this segment in the Ukraine side of things. Yeah, supposedly Ukraine has invaded Russia, but like several miles away from the border of Ukraine and Russia, like into Ukraine. It's actually crazy how, like, without actually invading Russia's borders, how Ukraine somehow started this. It's crazy how they did that, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what this absolute dump truck of a man, well, he has a dump truck on his, like, his ass is quite the dump truck, to be fair, but I mean more so that he is a truck of garbage. Let's see what this dump truck of a man has to say about Ukraine. I might crash out from this, though. I might crash out. He might make me so angry that I might tweak.
Gonna do that. Look, we've been treated very unfairly by Canada. We've been treated very unfairly by Mexico.
We have not been treated unfairly by Canada and Mexico by any means and in no way, shape, or form. It is just, you have to be stupid to believe this or knowingly lying.
But we've been treated very unfairly by every country all over the world. The European Union is horrible, horrible. And we're going to get it back. And I have a choice. I could just coast, and eventually there'd be a blow-up down the road, maybe a long way. But we owe $36 trillion, and we're going to get it back. We're the biggest, we're the best, and I'm very optimistic. I have to tell you, I'm very optimistic about the country. Much more optimistic.
Trump thinks that a trade deficit is paying subsidies to a country. He says this repeatedly, that we have paid like $3 trillion in subsidies to to Canada, which is literally just, as far as I know, like of all time, that is the cumulative trade deficit between the U.S. and Canada. It might be a made-up number. There's no way it's like in 1 year. I guess it could be. Like, just country-to-country trade is pretty huge. Like, big amounts of money are flowing, to be fair. But yeah, Trump just doesn't know the difference between a subsidy, trade deficit, national debt. He doesn't know that he doesn't know what these things are. He thinks they're all the same thing.
optimistic this way than if I did it the easy way. Yeah. I could have done it the easy way. I could have coasted. Biden left us a mess. He left us tremendous inflation, tremendously high costs of products. He left us a mess, but he also left us a mess with millions of people that poured into our country that are criminals. Millions of those people happen to be criminals. And we're looking for them all over the place. We're looking for them. And Homan and Christie are doing an incredible job. But he left us a horrible situation, and we're changing it. But one of the things we're changing is we're going to make our country really wealthy again. We're going to bring our jobs back. Right now.
Any day now, guys. Any day now. Any day now, guys.
Now we're like a chicken that's being plucked at from all over the world. We're not going to let that happen anymore.
Mr. President,
But very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia, and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports, and they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And
every time Trump talks, it is the same as Bart Simpson trying to cheese his way through an essay for like a book he didn't read. Yes. In this book, it's a great book, one of my favorite books. It's a very good book. The book is very good. I love books. I've read so many books, in fact. They call me the book guy. They used to call me the book guy. I'm not joking, because I knew so much about books. And this book is one of the best I've ever read. I'm telling you. I could talk about it for hours. It's such a good book. You know, I'm not even going to tell you the character's name, because if I just start talking, I'll just ramble on about it for hours. But it is the best book I ever read, and oh man, have I read a lot of books. Like, he's doing that right now, where he's trying to like fill dead air with just nonsense words that repeatedly bring up like just buzzword. Like his way of talking about conflict is, and the people involved, thousands are dying, soldiers, good people, and civilians are dying too, and there are explosions all over. It's like he's just trying to rack his brain for statements he can make that are probably true, so he can kind of sound like he knows what he's talking about. But that involves just a lot of repeating nonsense that isn't a statement about anything that needs to be said until he comes up with something that maybe he heard someone he thinks is smart say once that he can repeat on television to hopefully make people think he sounds smart and knows what he's talking about. But he never does. Even if you like Trump, I find it very hard to believe that you believe that Trump is smart. He does not come off as intelligent at all.
We want to get that war over with. So I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it, and hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on and people are going to get killed, lots of people.
Is Zelensky invited back to the White House?
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. President, you mentioned the ups and downs in the stock market. You said it'll go up, it'll go down. But do you and your tariff policies right now bear any responsibility for the turmoil we're seeing this week?
Biden gave us a horrible economy. He gave us horrible inflation. And I think the market was going to go very, very bad. If anything, I have a lot of very smart people.
By the way, Trump was posting cope tweets in the last months of Biden's presidency about how the reason the stock market and the U.S. economy by all markers are at record highs isn't because of Biden's policy. It's because everyone is so excited for him to take office. And so towards the end of Biden's presidency, we're at all-time highs for economic growth in the country. Trump is taking credit for it because the economy is doing so well. He takes office. Now everything's crashing, but it's Biden's fault that things are crashing. It was Trump's fault that things were doing well before he was president, and now that Trump is president, it's Biden's fault that things are crashing. This is the logic of MAGA. Because it's all about loyalty to Trump and submitting yourself to be a cog in the machine of the train of delusion that is centered entirely around sweeping for Trump worshiping Trump, fighting for what is best for Trump, fighting for Trump to have more power, trying to defend Trump from criticism, lie in favor of Trump, obscure what you believe in order to make your support of Trump seem more reasonable. Like, these are all things that they submit themselves to when joining the MAGA movement. It's all kind of there in front of them. They know it's part of the deal.
Friends of mine and great businessmen, they're now investing because of what I'm doing. Because long term, what I'm doing is making our country strong again. Financially strong, militarily strong.
That's right, guys. Right now, all these billionaires, they're buying. They're investing all their money right now because they're so confident Trump is going to fix the economy and make it better. You guys don't know that because you can't, obviously all the numbers are down, but trust Trump. All the rich people are super excited about where the economy is headed.
And strong, if we want to get away, remember this, we have wars. When I left, we had no wars. We didn't have Ukraine and Russia. We didn't have October 7th. We didn't have that disaster that took place with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And you look at what's...
You don't get to say we didn't have we don't have wars when you're in office. When you're in office and we are having war right now. Like, you literally just gave Netanyahu the green light to eviscerate Gaza. You are now giving, Putin the benefit of the doubt at every turn in this conflict and giving him everything he wants in trying to withdraw and threaten the withdrawal of support from Ukraine, framing the situation as if Ukraine and Zelensky are equally or in any way responsible for the horrors of war that Russia has brought upon them. Sorry.
What's happened there? We caught the major terrorist, which Biden wouldn't have caught. Why didn't he catch him? I caught him. 5 weeks into the presidency, I caught the man responsible for Abbeygate. And he's going to pay hell right now. He's a bad dude. He's a bad guy. But we didn't have these problems. I had no inflation. I had a great economy. He gave you high prices. You couldn't buy bacon. You couldn't buy anything. And also, I inherited a situation with eggs. The price of eggs was through the roof. Well, now the price of eggs has come down a lot. Interest rates have come down. Gasoline prices have come down. It's all coming down. It's all a beautiful thing.
It's all coming down, guys.
We're doing it the right way. And I have tremendous confidence.
Fortunately, for all of us who love pointing and laughing at Trump's failures, the only prices that have come down are the prices of shares in the stock market. And for most people, that's not a good thing.
In this country, and the people
that is not the kind of price that people were hoping to see come down.
Of this country, tremendous, much more so than if I sat back for 4 years and had a good time in the Oval Office. I want to look at cars.
I have an announcement to make that would be helpful. I want to say, as a function of the great policies of President Trump and his administration, and as an act of faith in America, Tesla is going to double vehicle output in the United States within the next 2 years.
Thank you. And by the way, he makes one car. This one I don't understand. This one I don't want, but that's okay. Without a steering wheel. It comes out next year, right?
Yes.
Explain that, please.
Yes, well, at the Cybercab.
They're literally doing an ad. They're literally using a presidential press conference to do a Tesla ad. Is literally car salesmen. They're literal car salesmen. We elected car salesman president. If you know anything about, that is literally, that's what these people are. They are car salesmen. In their personality, in their morality, in their way of speaking and acting, and literally, they are literal car salesmen.
Starts production in Texas next year, and it's self-driving. We have so much confidence in the self-driving nature of it that it'll actually not have a steering wheel.
Also, if you've ever worked as a car salesman, you probably aren't offended by what I just said in chat, because you completely know what I mean when I say that, and you're like, yeah, it's pretty true.
It will not have pedals. It'll either self-drive or not drive at all, but it'll self-drive.
President Trump,
and I'm going to pass on that particular.
Before this event today, when's the last time you bought a new car?
I love how Trump, he's like, I'm going to pass on that one. He doesn't even, it's so weird and awkward, their relationship. It's so bizarre. There's no way this doesn't end in the most spectacularly entertaining crash and burn imaginable, right? It's going to be amazing.
Well, I buy a lot through my children because they run the company now. I used to buy a lot I haven't bought a new car in a long time.
What was your first car?
The only thing I know is the Beast. I got a big car with very thick windows and thick side panels.
Is that going electric? Is the Beast going electric?
We buy a lot of cars. Actually, I bought this one for Kai.
Do you remember your first car?
The Ontario Premier calling you, giving you his decision about the electricity surcharge, and you said you were pleased about that. Will you make a different decision now about the tariffs on Canada, where you reduce it?
At that, but probably so. Yeah.
Oh, for those who don't know, Donald Trump's granddaughter, Kai Trump, is a young, extremely successful right-wing influencer. I've been meaning to cover her stuff at some point, but most of it is just extremely viral vlogs of her bragging about being super rich and her dad being the president, and then just her complaining about wokeness and how it's like the time for the right to rise or whatever. It's really cringe. But she's basically like the young, hip, White House, Trump family influencer. For those who have never seen her before, and you didn't know about her, she's got, she gained, I think she's the fastest growing channel on YouTube right now. Or at least she was for a hot minute. She was the fastest growing channel on YouTube. She is immensely popular. She is huge on YouTube right now, millions of subs in just a matter of months. Yeah, many of you guys haven't heard of her, but she is massive in the YouTube sphere right now, and she is doing a lot of work for normalizing the idea of the Trump family basically being the American royal family. She's very much doing this whole, we're the Trump family, you need to be fans of the Trump family, invested in our family and their thing that's going on. She has millions of fans and is basically priming America to obsess and worship the Trump family the same way that the UK worshipped, the royal family itself. She is their social media manager, in a way. Yeah. She's extremely popular. We're probably going to end up having to cover her stuff, but a lot of her content is just kind of flexing about her grandpa being the president and how he buys her anything that she wants. A lot of the most successful content creators that blow up overnight these days, have a ton of money, and so they're able to upload a bunch of videos, them doing crazy shit you need to have already had a ton of money to do. Then those videos blow up, and they end up being, super huge influencers that were already giga rich. That's what the Paul brothers did. The Paul brothers were already quite rich. They had a ton of money, and they got big because they were exclusively able to make the type of content they made because it required such a high pay-in. You have to have a mansion and access to fancy cars and the ability to flex because you've got expensive clothes and jewelry and all that shit, right? It's a whole genre of content you have to already be rich to get into. And it's a really big thing. And Trump's family is kind of delving into that world of content creation now.
He was a gentleman. He was a gentleman. Look, I said it before. We give Canada $200 billion a year. We subsidize Canada between all of the things we give them and trade.
There it is. Trump, once again, claiming that we subsidize Canada hundreds of billions a year because he does not know the difference between subsidies and a trade deficit. And he refuses to ask someone who knows.
We don't have to have cars made in Canada. We don't have to have lumber from Canada. We have tremendous lumber. We have tremendous trees. All I have to do is unfreeze them from some of the restrictions that were put on. I can do that with an executive order. We don't need energy. We have more energy than anybody else in the world.
What he's talking about are our national parks, by the way. He's talking about, removing the protections on our national parks so that they can cut down those trees. Now, I like hiking and camping and fishing and hunting. These are all pretty American hobbies as well. We kind of love all those things collectively as a country, left or right. That's maybe not hunting. I think a lot of people on the left don't like hunting, but hunting can be fun. Depends on the animal. I wouldn't be big on hunting larger animals, but ducks, doves, quail, and squirrels and shit, rabbits. Hunting is fun. You don't get to do that if there is no land to provide homes to the animals to reproduce in quantities where you can reliably go out and hunt them. whether for sport or for food. This is a very bad idea. I assure you, it is a bad idea.
The world. So we spend $200 billion a year subsidizing Canada. We don't have to do that. And frankly, the way that gets solved is Canada should honestly become our 51st state. We wouldn't have a northern border
He's
problem.
still on it.
We wouldn't have a tariff problem. They don't have...
He's legitimately serious about the wanting to invade Canada thing. He still has not dropped it. He is still threatening to invade and annex our closest ally. He is that much of an evil retard. And his supporters, who are cheering for this, are that evil and that retarded as well. That's really all. Like, I do think we need to heavily lean into calling these people evil retards. Because they're evil, but we also need to really hammer in how we're insulting them. Evil sounds like, oh, you're evil. Oh, I'm so offended. You're evil. No. Evil retards. They're not just dumb. They're not just stupid. They're retards. They're the meanest, nastiest word for someone who's dumb that you can imagine. That is what they are, and that's what we need to call them. I don't care how offensive you find the word. They're evil retards. Call them that. It is the most apt label possible. You will never be able to debate me out of this because it's objectively true. And, yeah, it's evil and retarded. I have no vocabulary beyond this to put into words what this is, because that's what this is. Threatening to annex your biggest ally is evil in the sense that it's traitorous, it's blatantly tyrannical and fascist, but it's also retarded because we benefit so much from Canada. He constantly keeps poking and prodding and punching at Canada. Meanwhile, America gets all the best deals with Canada. Every single deal and arrangement and treaty and everything that we've set up with Canada, we benefit more from. We had the most leverage when we made those deals, so Canada gave us the best shake of things. We have less leverage now than we did with Canada then when a lot of these agreements came to in the first place. So if we go back to the drawing board, come back to the negotiating table, Canada has way more leverage against us than we did against them. Then it's stupid. It is stupid and evil. I cannot emphasize enough that you need to both of these factors need to be equally repeated and screamed from the rooftops, okay?
They spend very little, as you know, the least of almost anybody on military, and we spend the most of anybody on military. We have a great military. I rebuilt the military during my first time. We're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. Not that much, but we're going to have to rebuild it a little bit again. But Canada would be great as our cherished 51st state. You wouldn't have to worry about borders. You wouldn't have to worry about anything. And by the way, Canada is very highly taxed, and we're very low tax. We're considered a low tax nation because of me, because I cut the taxes so low. So the people of Canada would pay much less tax. It makes a lot of sense. And by the way, when you take...
Yeah, exactly what Canadians want, guys, to pay less taxes and deal with all the consequences of less taxes. Canadians are begging for worse healthcare. Like, it is literally, no Canadian is out there right now like, man, I really hope that we end up with the American healthcare system. Like, I guess this messaging is only meant for Americans, but it's just funny imagining that he thinks Canadians will hear that and be like, yeah, he's kind of right. When it's like, no one outside of America believes in the delusional idea that the American healthcare system is moral or okay. Like, trying to defend American healthcare to non-Americans by telling them their healthcare system is worse and that they would rather have the American healthcare system, they never agree. No one would agree with that. Unless they're very wealthy and can pay out of pocket. If you can afford to pay out of pocket for all your healthcare costs, America is the best place in the world for healthcare. Yeah. If you are rich, if you are a millionaire or a billionaire, and you can pay for all your treatment, for anything, all your everything out of pocket, America is the best place. No insurance, everything paid out of pocket. That is the best deal for any wealthy person to get the best health care imaginable. But it's only great for rich people. The wealthy are going to love the future of healthcare in America. but all of us who cannot afford to pay out-of-pocket costs are going to suffer.
Take away that artificial line that looks like it was done with a ruler, and that's what it was. Some guy sat there years ago and they said, "Rah." Well, when you take away that and you look at that beautiful formation of Canada and the United States, there is no place anywhere in the world that looks like that. It's so
Greenland.
And then if you add Greenland, that's even.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
It's gonna look beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to make a decision. Do you want to hear what my decision?
Let's see it.
Okay, what's your best of these cars? What do you think?
Well, the car that I drive is the Model S Plaid.
Which is that one?
Literally, from discussing annexing our great and invading our greatest ally, which would involve war, right after saying he's the anti-war president, immediately back to trying to sell cars. This is American politics now. Remember, we elected car salesmen.
To keep that red one in the middle.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's 0 to 60.
Finally, Elon's
miles an hour in
kid
2
gets to be
seconds.
not a meat shield.
I don't know if my people can handle this. They're going to, Jeff, they're going to be using it more.
Oh no,
I'm not
Elon!
using it.
Wait, Elon he's looking for his human shield. He's like, oh shit, where'd he go? Oh fuck, my human shield got away. He's off playing and enjoying his childhood at the fucking way. I am happy at least because we know, because many of Elon's kids have grown old enough to talk about their experiences and their lives and what it's like for them. We know that being a child of Elon fucking sucks, and he's a very like shitty absentee father, right? At least this kid gets to hang around the White House, you know? Like, it's going to, like, at least this kid gets to have the experience of seeing the White House when it's, like, the coolest age for this kind of thing. Like, when you're too young to be like, wait, which president am I meeting? When you find out you're going to meet the president, you know, like you're young enough to just be like, oh, the president, wow, oh, the White House, whoa, you know, like that's nice at least. That's like a nice little wholesome little silver lining to this story. The kid's innocent in all this, but at least he gets to see like the White House up close in the most ridiculous state it's ever been in.
That's a fast one.
Just to be clear,
That's
for the
beautiful.
50%, is that going to go into effect on Canada or no?
Which one?
The 50.
It's actually really funny. I see a lot of Cybertrucks on the road because I'm in Seattle, Washington, and I saw a fair amount of Teslas and Cybertrucks on the road in Palm Springs, California as well. Do you want to know where you never see these things? Florida, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi, like Georgia. None of these states will you ever see a Tesla or a Cybertruck. Maybe one or two, but you do not see them frequently on the road at all. And a big reason for this is infrastructure. You can't just charge your car at home. You are massively limited in what you can do if you can only charge your car at home. And these big blue cities and big blue states are filled with electric car chargers, right? And that means that if you want to go for an electric car, you might get a Tesla. And so a lot of the people who buy Tesla, who can afford and can, who have the local infrastructure for Tesla vehicles, they all live in blue cities. They live in Seattle and Palm Springs, these like very progressive, highly deep blue voting, gay AF cities, right? And now Elon is just making it a goal to tell his number one target demographic that's buying electric cars that he hates them and despises them. It's like, I don't know, man. It does not seem like a good look. The people driving around here that are driving Teslas and Cybertrucks, I think a lot of them did not know where Elon was going to end up when they bought those things. And they just have one now. Because, man, right now, Elon is backing the guy who is defunding the effort to build more electric car chargers. It's very bizarre.
50% tariffs?
I'll let you know about it. Yeah, I'll let you.
I'll let you know about
I appreciated
it.
his call. I thought it was nice. This is beautiful. Whoa! Can I get in?
Get in.
Okay. Let me get in.
This is so fucking cringe, dude.
Do you want my notes?
Yeah.
They gave me notes. I said, I'm not Biden. I don't need notes.
Yeah.
I can take it.
Thank you. And let me get into this after stuff. I'll watch Secret Service go crazy. Thank you.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, it would
Oh,
really
that's
well.
beautiful. Wow.
my goodness, outside.
That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful. Wow.
Everything's computer.
Yeah, it's just a brake and an accelerator.
That's beautiful.
Can you start it?
Should I? I'll see the engine.
Oh,
you gonna get it wrapped in gold?
So, do you want to actually...
Gonna get it wrapped in gold.
You don't want me to drive it, do you?
I saw Biden do a
tell you,
test
it
move
could
here
be-
once in the Jeep.
Yeah,
It's very easy to drive.
The president's not allowed to drive. It's not allowed. Like, to be clear, the Secret Service might be the only... I'm going to be honest, the Secret Service might be the most powerful institution in America right now. Trump has basically taken full unilateral power. But there is one group of people who can tackle the president, grab the president, and drag him by, like, his collar into the White House, into a vehicle, drag him wherever. Like, they can force him to do anything. He has no power over what they're allowed to do to him. Like, if they decide he's in danger or he's doing something that he's not allowed to do because it could endanger him, they are allowed to force their will on him in ways that are kind of crazy. Like, the Secret Service, like, is their job is to force the president to do what they think is the most safe, even if the president doesn't want to. And a big part of that is the president isn't allowed to drive. And if he tries to start that thing up and start driving, a Secret Service agent would have bolted over and slid over the hood of the car. There's one right there in the background, by the way. Would have slid over the hood of the car, grabbed him by his tie, ripped him out of that thing, and dragged him away from it. And they probably would have restrained him and got him away from the car to make sure he didn't try to get back in. Like, that is... And former presidents get the same treatment, by the way. They're not allowed... Like, it is some serious shit. The Secret Service might be the most powerful institution in our country right now because they can do that to Trump, and basically no one else can so much as give Trump some lip without getting fired at this point. You know, it's like... Secret Service has hands right now. They're probably the most powerful.
That's you're the only one that saw it.
So it's like driving a golf cart, basically.
That's beautiful. Very simple.
It's very simple. So it's literally like a golf cart that goes really fast. There's no gears. And no...
This is really amazing.
Let's take a look at that. Mr. President, you gonna get it wrapped in gold?
Think Biden can get into that car?
Wait, that guy asked a second time, are you gonna get it wrapped in gold?
About some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great...
What? Okay. He is outright saying that if anyone vandalizes a Tesla, it is going to be deemed domestic terrorism, and that he is going to write up that law. Trump is literally promising to deem it legally domestic terrorism to specifically vandalize a Tesla. Bro. I gotta read the comments on this shit. So, this subtle Tesla marketing isn't that subtle, as subtle as you think, guys. Not at all a Tesla ad. What's with all the incoherent bots on here? Nobody wants to see his Teslas. He is like a little kid. Look at my cars. Terrible Tesla ad implementation. Must be great to see your leader popular, confident, and liked. There's a Trump supporter. Man, I gotta make a Trump speech bingo card. He hates not bringing up Biden and or Hillary. Pandemic made things go up for everyone. Damn Trump, you're the president. You said you can do so much on day one. Those are your words, not the people's. Man up and grow a pair and take responsibility. Watch out. When did he last drive? Most probably doesn't know how to turn the car on. Sounds like somebody in Canada told Premier Ford to take one for the team and bend the knee and call Trump to grovel. Some guy sat there years ago and said, "Rah, the realist with realist connotations." He's such a cool president from someone who's got a, what are they called? A troll? Like a troll doll? PFP? Why would Canada ever consider joining the U.S.? We would lose our health care, our public education system, and our reputation. You would be defended. Right now, you are exposed. To who? America? Invading? Led by the president whose big selling point is that he's against war? I love how these people, like, literally dick road Trump about how he's gonna stop war and conflict, but they're begging him to launch the biggest war in U.S. history to invade Canada and Greenland, to steal it from Finland as well. Like, they are begging Trump to put us at war with Canada and Finland. Or is it, yeah, or Denmark. Canada and Denmark. They're like, please, please, Trump, please send us to war against Canada and Denmark. We need it. Our anti-war president, who's going to bring peace with Israel and Ukraine, please send us to war against Denmark and Canada. It's what we voted for. Like, that's them right now. Fucking ridiculous, dude. I can't believe we just watched a presidential press conference that was like 50% Tesla ad. I did not expect it to get that blatant and that obvious, you know? That was just downright pathetic. Well, what's he gonna do? Just outright admit he owns like half of Tesla's shares or something on television? They just admit to market manipulation? Because who's gonna hold him accountable at this point? He can't be found guilty of anything. He should just admit to all the crimes he's doing, just to trigger people. Anyway, with that said, if you guys enjoyed this segment, if you found it enjoyable, educational, or in any way worth watching, and you want to see more from me, you want to support the channel, then consider dropping a like and a comment. It's totally free, and every single thumbs up and comment you leave on my videos and my new streams boosts my channel in the algorithm so that more people see it, and that is the only way. Even donating is fun and helps a lot, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't help get my stuff seen by more people and counter the right-wing narrative. The best way to do that is just hitting the like button and the comment button, and it's totally free, so I really do appreciate everyone who does that. You can also follow my social medias linked down below, subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future. And of course, if you want to see more from me, support the channel, help to keep the channel going, keep the lights on, and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall Studio, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub in my website, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.